You are now entering the thought loop.
Welcome all to the Thought Loop podcast with your host, the Trip Keeper from Tales from the Trip. Whoa, so this is going to be fun. I've always wanted to get a podcast and never knew how to really start it, but here I am, 22,000 subscribers later with a microphone. Not really a good one. I'm trying to get a better one, but hey, we're going to work on that. If I get more and more popular, then I will get a better mic, because the one I was looking at was $399, and that's not, a price to scoff at. That's just like, okay, $399, do you really want to spend that much when your mic is working just fine? Yes, I do, but I want to give it time, because I don't know what this YouTube channel will lead to. Maybe this podcast will give me something. I don't know. Maybe this will do nothing. Maybe this podcast will blow. That's for you guys to tell me if you guys like it or not, because I can do it. I think it'd be a lot easier for me to do than recording videos. Now, this is not gonna stop me from recording videos. I'm just saying, this is like, compared to making videos, this is a lot easier, because I'm just speaking into the mic, talking about whatever the fuck I want. And I can swear. We're on Sirius XM, baby. No, I don't know. We're not on Sirius XM. Anyways, see, this is gonna happen. I swear. I'm gonna be rambling about some random shit all the time, and I'm gonna get lost. See, I'm already doing it again. Look. All right. I really don't have a set thing to go off of today, except the questions I asked you guys. And this episode is gonna be all over the place until I figure out what I'm gonna do on here, and maybe get an editor to get all the stuff out. This is just gonna be a raw, uncut podcast, because I don't have the time to edit everything right now. I'll probably put an intro and outro. You'll probably hear something cool. I don't know. Let me know if you guys like that too. But for the first couple episodes, maybe the first 15, I don't know if there even is going to be 15 episodes, but it's going to be a little weird. It's not going to be as high quality as like the Joe Rogan podcast or something. So, but I hope my talking points are interesting, and that's what gets you to listen, not the quality, because I've listened to some podcasts before where their quality is just so bad, but I love the people who are talking on it, and the stories they talk about are just super interesting. So that's why I listen to it, okay? I mean, you don't want to hear some like random noise in the background, though. I don't think you'll ever hear that, except maybe the birds chirping in the background. They already are right now. I don't know if the mic is picking that up, but they picked it up on other videos, and people have told me about it. I'm like, yeah, I know they're in the background. I can't just like go into the audio editing software and be like, hey birds, can you not chirp in that? No, because it's already a done deal, and I'm not going back to record a story, especially if it's super long like the ones I read. Not all of them are long, but most of them, they're pretty decently long. I mean, when I look at it, honestly, all right, I'm just going to talk about random stuff, okay? I don't know what I'm doing. All right, this is my first podcast. We'll figure it out later. When I choose a story for my YouTube channel, I always look for the best. I don't, I might not choose the best, but from what I like to read. I was just interviewed for another podcast, Xeon Archive, I think that's the name. I don't know if that's how you pronounce Xeon, but it's Xian. I don't know if this will be out before that. It might be. I don't know, but check that one out when it comes out. I'll probably put it in my YouTube community, but I talk about stuff like that. I ramble on in there, but when I choose a story, I choose the best one, and I want it to I want it to be, something that you guys will remember. If it's disturbing or not. Some stories are more disturbing than others. And I really like reading the disturbing ones. Does that make me sound like a maniac? Probably. But, the disturbing stories are way, way more interesting than other like, that's why I don't read positive stories, because yeah, it's probably fun hearing someone talk about how they traveled to a different dimension and met Jesus or something, but hearing something go horribly wrong is like, man, you're just sitting there listening like, man, I'm glad that's not me, but it could be you. You never know. If it comes down to it, you never know what you're putting inside your body. That's why I always tell people, get a drug tester. I don't care. I do not care how much money it is. It's not too much money. Just get it. If you're a regular drug user, okay, back in my day I was, and I don't know if I ever got anything. I don't know if I ever got anything laced. I might have, and if it wasn't too strong. So I'm grateful that nothing happened to me where I could have died. Now I felt like I wanted to die, but that was just me panicking. Having a panic attack during a trip is just, oh man, is it terrible. I sometimes they're just super prolonged. Like, an acid trip can last you 12 hours. Like, I've had acid trips that, like, it may not have been full peak, but the peak lasts a very long time for some of them, especially if I took 2 or 3 hits, or the one hit was 3 hits worth or something. I never paid attention to the micrograms or the UG of them. I just like, all right, well, it's an acid tab I'm going to take. I'm going to go off of how many tabs I take. And you got to be more careful with that, because that's stupid thinking. Because one of those tabs, if the dealer doesn't tell you, most of the time they'll be like, oh yeah, this tab is pretty strong, so that tells you, like, all right, you only need to take 1. You don't have to take more than that. Yeah, that's so just be very careful with taking these drugs. My channel is not a drug safety channel as much as people want to say that. It's not. I respect it. I think it could be used as one, for sure. I think it has been used for one, but I didn't create it to be a drug safety channel. I read it just because I love reading horror stories, and it just happened. I just happened to read trip reports that were horrifying. Now not all of them are horrifying, so they're just, some of them aren't, they're mildly scary. There's none that are like, not scary though. Like, I read, they have to be mildly disturbing or I'm not going to read it. Maybe the beginning, when I first started out, when I wasn't sure what I was doing, I was just doing it for fun. Now I see it like it's kind of like a job now. But before, when I started, I don't know what made me decide to do, horror trip reports, but it just happened, and I'm glad I stuck with that, because I just love doing it. Yeah, that's basically why I started the channel. I think that was a question that someone asked, that I have in the later in this episode, or I don't know how long it's going to be. I don't know how long this podcast is going to end up being. It could be different every upload, but I think I'm going to do a fan question thing at the end of every episode, or wherever, in the middle maybe. I really don't know. Maybe I can piggyback off of it. Like I said, this is raw and uncut, and if I mess up, I'm sorry. I'm just talking. I'm just rambling. It's 8:09 p.m. I just came back from work. I had my dinner, took a shower. I'm doing everything a full-time man would be doing. And it's Saturday night, and I'm recording this podcast, and this is actually going better than I thought it would. I'm actually having a really good time. It's basically like I get to talk to people, even though I'm talking to myself right now. It's when it uploads, it's going to be talking to you guys. So that's pretty cool to think, because most of the time, no one really wants to hear you talk or ramble on about stuff, but some people, hey, some people do. If you have something interesting to say, if you're a character, people will listen. Like, that's why Joe Rogan has so many followers. He has open discussions with people. I'm not saying I agree with everything he says or anything, but you got to give him respect. It's like, he started basically from nothing. I know he was on Fear Factor, he was doing a bunch of other stuff, but before that podcast, you didn't know who he was. You know, he was just like, I mean, no, you know who he was, but you know what I'm saying? He wasn't popular at all. Like, you wouldn't, like, if you'd have told me in 10 years that he'd have the biggest podcast in the world, I'd be like, what the fuck? What the fuck is a podcast? You know? I don't even know when podcasts started. I know they could have been out for a while. I can't remember the exact date, so someone let me know when they first started, but yeah, it seemed like one day they just kind of blew up. I know they started getting really popular in the 2010s, maybe the mid 2010s. That's when I started seeing them. I didn't really listen to any. I was still like, I wasn't even listening to radio shows. That was actually, that was my dream, to be a radio host. So maybe it's all coming to fruition. Doing this podcast, it's not a radio show, but it's basically the same thing. You can't even deny it. It's the same thing. Just a little different, but it's basically the same thing. Like you can't. There's so many similarities with it, and that's why I feel like radio, that might be dying. I don't know. I don't listen to the radio anymore. I got Spotify. Everything I want to listen to is on there, and I'm actually gonna try to get this on Spotify. I think I can, but I gotta look at what I can do, because I really want to put my videos on there too, but I'm not sure how, because they don't really pay that much on there. I know it's a lot easier to listen to. You don't have to keep your phone on or anything when you listen to it, but your phone, like your lock screen on. But I feel like, that might diminish the views on YouTube, where YouTube is bringing in all this, attention with everything, and like, I don't know. I mean, we could see what it's like. I'll definitely try to put this podcast on here, but we're gonna wait for the videos. I mean, I definitely want to put them on there too, because I know I love it when, Let's Read, he puts his stuff on there. I can just listen to that. And Bedtime Stories, you guys know those channels. They're fucking awesome. If you want to check them out, they're great. They're actually pretty big inspirations for me. Yeah, so this is the podcast. This is the Thought Loop podcast. Whoever gave me the name, it's in the thread when I asked about it, so I can go check it out. I'll give you a shout out when I figure out who gave me the name, because it's just like, that is a perfect name for the podcast, for real. It's like a thought loop, man. We've all been through it. We've all had a thought loop when we were doing psychedelics. They're hard to get out of, that's for sure. Sometimes you never get out of it. Honestly, I feel like I go through a thought loop every single day. I just constantly think about things. That probably has to do with my anxiety and depression. Not so much depression. I get depressed, but I wouldn't say I have depression. But I definitely have anxiety, and I don't know if that's from drug use or not, but it could be, because I don't remember having it before. I think it might be the kratom that I'm taking. I know it's, these drugs are not safe, but I'm glad I didn't go down the wrong path where people are just struggling with those harder drugs right now, like meth or heroin or anything. I'm blessed that I never tried that, and I never will, because I don't even if there's a good feeling to come from it, that does not, everything that I've heard from, people dying and shit. My cousin, back in November, she just passed away. We thought it was heroin at first, but we looked at the autopsy report. It came back 2 weeks ago, and it was actually fentanyl. And there's a couple more drugs in there, but I feel like it was all in that one. There was something in there. It was like 1,000 times more potent than morphine. I know fentanyl, I think, is 1,000 times more potent, but there was something else. That was like that. So yeah, it's like, if you get down that wrong path, man, you're screwed. It's hard to get out. It's especially if you're addicted to those kind of hard drugs. You're stuck. Like, there's no way out. That's how you feel, at least, because there is a way out. It's just, man, you need to fucking, like, you need to push yourself. Like, with the way I'm pushing for my YouTube channel, and maybe this podcast, and my guitar playing, and then my full-time job at the post office, like, my work ethic is pretty strong. That's the kind of work ethic you need to not be addicted, and that's the only way you can get out of it. And if you don't believe in yourself, you're never going to get out. And that's not, I do not blame you one bit either. That is the toughest thing. People think they take addiction seriously, but they don't, because they think everyone who's addicted to something is a junkie. That's not true. These people are human beings. You can't just you can't put them into that category. They were born into this world equal like every one of us, and they ended up going down the wrong path, whether that was their fault or not. There's some bad friends you come across that change the trajectory of your life. Sorry. See, if I mess up like that during the podcast, I'm just going to keep on going because it's the first episode, so fuck off. Yeah, it's just the people you hang out with, man, the situation you're living in, how depressed you're feeling. Luckily, I wasn't depressed or anxious in high school. I was just doing drugs for fun. Same with all of our friends, but, I guess that was a bad influence if we were all doing them and, still doing them. I don't do psychs as much or anything really, just the kratom. Well, I shouldn't be like, oh, just the kratom, because it is something powerful, but it's kratom for sure. But we gotta start taking addiction seriously. Like I really want to be a spokesperson for addiction because it's tough. It is very, very tough to get out of that. And once you're hooked, I mean, there's no going back. Like, you're on it. And until you figure out how the hell to get off of it, you're going to be stuck living like that forever. And, some people, the only way they got out was death. And that is not how I want people to get out of it. That is just simply the worst way. And that happened to my cousin, unfortunately. I just remember getting a call from my grandpa. He called me it was like 9:30 at night. I'm like, oh God, this can't be good news, because we don't call on the phone that much, but we call sometimes. But if he called me at 9:30, I'm like, oh fuck, because he's usually asleep by then. I'm like, all right, my grandma died or my grandpa died, and she's calling from the cell phone. But I get the call, and my grandpa's like, Kelly's dead. And I was just like, oh my God, what the fuck? And you can hear the sorrow in his voice. Man, I was just sitting there like, what the fuck? She died. At that point, I didn't know the extent of what she was doing. I thought that she was on pills and that was it. I didn't know that she was on heroin or anything, or fentanyl, whatever she was doing. I don't know. I don't know if she bought heroin and ended up being fentanyl instead. But yeah, whatever it was, it killed her. Yeah, it's deeply saddening, because you grew up with this person. I wasn't really talking to her that much. I wish I can go back and talk to her about say just you can get through it. Just don't succumb to this. You're better than this. But yeah, that was a really, when she died, that was like a really like, all right, I can never get into these kind of drugs. That was my stopping point. I actually, after that moment, I really haven't really drank either. I don't know if that's because I'm working on this YouTube channel or because of that, or it's probably a mix of both. Because when I turned 21, I'm 22 right now. I turned 23 in the summertime, but when I turned 21 almost 2 years ago, I would go through bottles and bottles of whiskey or whatever I was buying, tequila or whatever, probably 1 or 2 bottles a week. And these were like $50, but I didn't really care because, my money was not a problem at the time. And it really has never been, except for last year at a moment, but I'm not going to get into that. Because I'm fine now, so we're good. We are good. But I was addicted to alcohol. I don't know if I was addicted per se, but I was drinking a lot. I wasn't drinking every night, but when I would drink, man, I'd go through a half a bottle, and maybe a little less than that, but I'd go through it fast. And it's just like what really made me stop, other than those things that I mentioned about my cousin dying and the YouTube channel and work, just being too much. It's like when I went to sleep on it, I would wake up in the middle of the night and I wouldn't be able to go back to bed. That kind of sounded like my Trip Keeper voice that I use. Well, it's actually my voice, but I just I changed the tone and stuff. Yeah, I would go to bed and I would wake up and not be able to go back, and that really pissed me off. Like because I had to go to work the next day most of the time. But if I didn't have to go to work the next day, I didn't really care. But it made me mad. Just not being able to sleep. Like you would think that alcohol would make you pass out, but not for me. I mean, it did at first, and then once I would wake up, I'd be like, all right, I'm not going back to bed again, I guess. It was just terrible. And then I'd feel like crap the next day because the alcohol, and I didn't get any sleep. It's like, why? Why am I even drinking this? This is so stupid. Like, fuck this shit. Now, I think I actually just bought liquor the other day, and I had one drink because I started to feel like crap. So I have an expensive bottle of whiskey sitting in my refrigerator, and I don't know the next time I'm going to drink it. That's the first time I've had liquor since Christmas, last week when I bought it. Like, I do not drink anymore. It disgusts me. I don't even know if I want to drink another drink of that, but I probably will have to because I don't feel like wasting how much money I spent on it. So just don't even drink. There's no point to it, honestly. Like, if you're gonna do it, just do it for events and shit. That it makes things more fun. But if you overdo it, man, you can really you can suffer the next day. When me and my friend went to Niagara Falls in 2020, or was it 2021? No, it was 2020. Went to Niagara Falls, and we were both 21. He turned 21 in February, so he had already been 21 for a little bit. Man, we went to the New York liquor store, and we bought a couple things. And the first night we were there, man, I don't know if I drank a lot. I think I did, but I know I didn't feel like shit the next day like he did, man. He was going at it. He was getting drunk. The next day, when we got breakfast, because we only paid $1 for the breakfast, and we thought it was gonna be like this, breakfast bar. They give you some waffles and some cereal. Nah, this shit was connected to the hotel. They were giving you full-on breakfast, like a whole-ass meal, like something. I looked at the menu, it was like $12, and we only paid $1 each day for it, so that was pretty fucking sweet. We stayed at the Holiday Inn, so I recommend staying there. It was very comfortable. The pillows were just like, oh my god, they were so comfortable. And there's a nice view of the casino that I got to go to, and that was my first casino. And I haven't been back to the casino except for Jason Bonham Led Zeppelin concert back in November, actually right before my cousin died. Yeah, that was the last time I went to a casino. I think I put $20 in or something, but I don't really like going to the casino unless I'm playing blackjack. I love blackjack. We played it, and I won like $120, and that was my first time ever playing at the casino, and I won. And we wanted to go back so bad again the next day and the next day, but my ID, I had to get it like renewed or something, so they didn't let us in again. They let us in the first day because the first person was pretty sweet about it, but they were being cocksuckers. Like, don't you want my money? Like, why wouldn't you let me in? And that kind of made my friend mad, and I felt bad, but we had to suffer together. He's done stuff to me that made me mad over the years, so he already knows. If he's listening right now, fuck you. No, I'm kidding. Love you like a brother. You are my brother, actually. We're related. No, we're not. Okay, so that was a ramble, wasn't it? That was like, oh shit, that was like 24 minutes. What the fuck? See, maybe this podcast can be good. If you're interested in me rambling, this might be the podcast for you. Since it's my first episode, I think I'm just gonna go right into the questions that my fans. I don't like calling them fans. It's like weird because I'm like a normal person. Having a YouTube channel is not something that you would think someone is like, oh, this guy is superb. He's very fancy. He has a YouTube channel. Oh, these are my fans. Like, no, my supporters. I'll say my supporters. These are some questions that my supporters have sent me, and I didn't answer them. I looked at them and I put them in this Google Doc, so I had them. I think I put them in like how they can gel together. Maybe I might knock out two questions with one. I'm not sure, but I started off with what the similar kind of questions they were asking into the other more random stuff that I got asked. I'm saying a lot, ain't I? Oh god, you guys are gonna fucking be pet peeving about that one in the comments. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you guys won't care. No. All right. So this first question is from, I think it's Malice. It's MAL.IC3. So I'm guessing they're going for Malice. This question asks, or I guess it's not a question, it's a statement. It just says, all right, you should talk about ways to start getting into psychedelics for beginners and how to be safe. All right, so when I first did psychedelics, I was 15 years old. I did acid, and it was probably the greatest, no, maybe not the greatest, but it was one of the better experiences I've had. Because you don't know what the hell's going to happen. You've heard about what acid does to you, and you never really know what it does until you take it. People think that's like, oh man, I'm going to see, dude, there's like fucking black shadows over there, like, just random figures around here. Dude, my washing machine started talking to me. Like, I mean, maybe that happens, but nothing, you don't hallucinate. I never hallucinated, at least. So you can't, when you first start off, what acid is not what you think. No matter how much you think you know what acid is, no matter how much someone can explain to you what acid is like, you won't know until you take it. But I do think that acid is definitely the perfect psychedelic to get started on. Because it can be very light, and you won't panic. I don't think if the first time you do, you might. Now, if you're prone to panicking, if you have anxiety, I don't know if I would take psychedelics. Maybe start off with a microdose. A microdose is like a really small portion of what, if you had a blotter, if you had a tab of acid and you cut off like maybe a little corner of the piece, that's a microdose. I do that sometimes. I recommend it. It's nice. You're still tripping kind of, but you're more like high, and you're just like high the whole day, which is nice if you like getting high. Not telling you guys to do drugs or anything, but this is just my opinion. So to start off, I would definitely do acid. If you're ever going to do one drug, I would start off with that. Like I said, I'm not telling you what you should do. I'm just saying this is to be the safest. I would start off with acid. I think shrooms is a little bit too powerful. There's too much stuff to see on it. It is more like, whoa, Acid can be very light, and you can enjoy it, and it can just be an all-around fun time. So to be safe with anything, I would start off with acid. And the worst thing about it when you're younger is that you're probably going to be overpaying for it. You're probably going to pay $15 for a tab. At least that's what I got charged when I was in high school. Most of the time it was 10, but there's times where I got charged 15 and 20. It's like, what the fuck? Now, being 22, working at the post office, I know people that are, or I know, not, I'm not saying I know people there, but people just, when you get older, there's more people that more people that you've known for a while who just get more and more. So they're basically giving it to you. At least that's what I haven't paid for any any acid in like 5 years, 4 or 5 years, maybe shorter than that. Maybe I'm overstating it, but it's at least 2-3 years. Yeah, I haven't paid for it. I've been getting it for free. I got mushrooms for free too. I'm not saying this is gonna happen to you, but it happened to me. So best wishes to you. But yeah, start off with acid and then go from there. The psychedelic journey shall take you to places you'll wish to see again. But acid is definitely the best starter to get started. All right, this next question by Modern Myth 90. What role have psychedelics played in gaining insight? Now, this is a good question. Psychedelics, they really show you what the world is like. Like, before I took it, I had no idea that you could think, you feel like you could think for others. I don't know if that made me an empath or not. People like to call themselves an empath, but I truly feel like I have become one. I don't know if that's because of the psychedelics or not, but I am a deep thinker now. I think way too much, and that could be a problem for me. That could have caused my anxiety. That's why I'm not telling you to do these things, because things like this could happen to you. But I don't know. That it could just be growing, intelligence or something. I'm not going to say I'm a smart guy, but I'm not dumb. That's for sure. So gaining insight is, yeah, it plays a role in it. That I can tell you. I sound like Trump there. That I can tell you. Okay, it is great. It is insightful. It is intelligent. All right. I used to do impersonations too. I still do them sometimes, but not as much. But yeah, I feel like psychedelics have really made me understand the world. For better or for worse, it definitely has. And I think it for it, and I don't think it for it. There's times where I don't want to know something, and then there's times where I'm like glad I know something. And there's situations I don't get myself involved in, and there's situations I do get myself involved in. And if it wasn't for these drugs, these psychedelics, I probably wouldn't even have started this YouTube channel. So yeah, it's definitely insightful. It is very, well, taking them makes you insightful, as I should say. It's a good question. This next question is by Isaac Kaufman. What is the most dangerous drug that you have ever done personally? Oh man, there's a lot of dangerous drugs out there that you can definitely do, and you might die on. But I'd say the most dangerous drug I've taken was probably diphenhydramine or Benadryl, whichever one, name brand stuff. It is what people say about Benadryl is true. DPH. Like, I have one video on my channel where I talk about my near death DPH trip, and I mixed drugs those days. That day I did DPH, phenibut. I call it phenibut, so I'm gonna say it like that. And alcohol. And you're not supposed to mix any of those together, but my fucking dumbass did, because I felt like phenibut was just like became a daily part of my life. So maybe that was also bad too. I don't think it was as destructive as DPH was, because I just felt like I didn't even know why I was doing it. Like, I didn't even feel good or anything. I was just like, I want to get high. And it was the only thing I could get my hands on, because I wasn't 21 yet. I wasn't really smoking, and I wasn't old enough to drink. So, that's what I could get. So I was doing it. And, if you haven't watched the video yet, in the end of it, I don't know if I want to spoil it for you, but if you have seen it, you guys know what I'm talking about. But I could have died. Like, I was driving, and there's this big semi-truck, and it almost hit me. But that was my fault. It wasn't his fault. It was mine. I could have died. I was falling asleep, and that the phenibut makes you fall asleep too. Like, I passed out in a chair just from I passed out a lot. You feel like you have narcolepsy if you took the doses I did, even if the lower doses too. But mixing those together, mixing two sleep aids together is not gonna end well, especially with the alcohol. I mean, I think I only had like a beer or something, but it was still I still count it. But yeah, I was falling asleep on the freeway, or not the freeway. I was over a bridge, and I hear this loud semi beep its horn. It was like, and I woke up and I was like, what the fuck? And next thing I know, I'm literally like an inch away from the guy's semi, being under it, being crushed by the tires. I'm like, holy fuck. And after that, I was wide awake, driving all the way home. And I really think adrenaline is a drug, because that shit fucking, it was like the Pulp Fiction scene where she gets injected with the adrenaline, whatever it was, I don't remember, into her heart, and that's exactly how I felt. I was wide awake, and I was like, all right, I gotta just stay awake until I get home. Oh man, that was just terrifying. I do not recommend doing DPH. That's a drug. I'm not gonna tell you what or what not to do, but there's literally no benefits from taking it unless you're taking it for what it's supposed to do, okay, which is like allergies or something. And that's not why I was taking it. I was taking it because I wanted to feel something. So don't do it. Just don't do it. This next question is by Jeremy Beauvais, or Beauvais, Jeremy Beauvais. What drugs will you never try? I think I talked about it earlier in this podcast. It's weird to say earlier in this podcast, like I've been talking for 3 hours. The drugs I'll never try would be heroin, meth, fentanyl, anything strong, dude. Anything strong. Because if you like it, that's going to be the problem if you end up liking it. And I'll never inject anything unless it's like a shot or something, but that's not me doing it. That's the doctor. I will never do those. Any of the strong drugs, you can list off any of them. I will not do them. I've done some strong drugs in the past, but not in the category like that one is. Maybe the only strong one I've done was coke, but it was literally only like a couple bumps. It wasn't too much. And I'll never do that again because it didn't do anything to me. So no, I will not do heroin. I will not do meth. Just any of those, never gonna do those. All right, this next question is by Emma H. What is your favorite drug? Maybe the best experience you've had on that drug. Well, my favorite drug. Now this one, it could be a hard drug like the one I mentioned above, but it's definitely not as hard as the ones I mentioned, because it's just not as destructive as those can. Literally, like, as soon as you take it, you could die, which you could die with any of them. But I'm not gonna make a point here. I'm just gonna tell you what my oh god, here's me rambling again. First podcast, remember that, guys. Stay with me. My favorite drug would be Adderall. The come down can be pretty horrible. It can be pretty depressing. I wouldn't say it's bad. It's not like I've suffered worse depression just not taking anything, so I can deal with it. Adderall would always make me like in such a good mood, and it made me so productive. I loved it, and I still take it probably once or twice a year. It is fun. It's something that it like unlocks a piece of your brain. It's like how psychedelics unlock the creative side of your brain. Adderall unlocks the smart side of your brain. So I've already done psychedelics, and mixing that with Adderall, it's like, man, you really think you could probably go on a Jeopardy right now and get all these questions right. So that's my favorite. Every experience I've had on it was fun, and it was probably my best experience. But it, like I said, the come down can be pretty bad. That's the only part I don't like about it. But overall, like, dude, and then not being able to sleep really bothers me. But if you don't if you're not working the next day, you're not going to school the next day, I think it's perfect. It's yeah. And if you can't fall asleep, just take melatonin. Like I remember the one time, I think it was like 2 years ago, I took Adderall at 6 p.m. or something, and I fell asleep at like 12. So it's possible to go to sleep, and especially with my job, man, I could fall asleep. I could drink. I remember when I was really addicted to caffeine, I was drinking coffee, and I would drink like 3 cups a day. And when I got home from work, I'd drink one. It'd be like 7 o'clock, and I'd fall asleep at like 9:30. That's what working at the post office does to you. It makes you tired. I'm already fucking tired right now, but I have all this energy to talk because I didn't talk to anybody today because people fucking suck. Not everybody. No, I'm just kidding. No one sucks. Everyone's awesome. All right, this next question is kind of like the last one a little bit. I don't know how to pronounce this one. I'm going to try my best. Ruat Sangha White. I know how to pronounce white because that's my skin color, if you guys couldn't tell by my voice. What drugs gave you your best experience? Like I said, I think, or you know what? I really think Molly did. Molly, MDMA, made me get into music. Now, everyone's into music. It's hard to find someone who doesn't like music. I enjoyed music. I liked music. I was listening to it. I listen to it every day. But when I did Molly, my friend sent me a song by the Eagles called Lion Eyes. And I still listen to it to this day. But when I heard it coming up on Molly, oh my God, dude. It sounded like the most beautiful piece of music I've ever heard. So if you ever do Molly and you want to find a song to listen to, put on Lion Eyes. It just felt like I got transported into a new world. It was great. But the one thing with Molly was that whenever it got cold, I don't know what this had to do with, because my friend said it didn't happen to him, but when it got cold, I started freaking out. But when I got warm, I had a blanket on or something, I was like the happiest person alive. It was like really weird, but if I stayed warm, but you shouldn't stay warm. That's the thing. If you stay too warm, you can dehydrate, and that's not good. But as long as you got water or Gatorade, I think you'll be fine. Yeah, just whenever I got cold, I'd be freaking out. It was like really weird, but whatever. I probably won't. I'm probably never gonna do that drug again. Not because I don't want to, just because I don't have time. I don't have time to do these. I really don't. It's time consuming to do these, because you really, like, if you're planning on doing something that day, good luck doing it on these psychedelics or something, because you're not going to be able to do it. Like if I took acid before I was going to record a video, I'd probably be like, whoa, dude, I can't even do this, and it wouldn't be good. Same with weed too. Like I'd probably start freaking out. I don't smoke weed anymore because I get very paranoid from it, and it's a shame because I used to love smoking weed. That was my favorite drug to do. Literally, it was so easy to do. All I had to do was smoke it, and I'd be high. I'd get high every day. Got high every day before school. Honestly, that was probably my favorite drug. But ever since it started making me paranoid, I can't. I don't enjoy it anymore. I wish I could, but I just can't. It's one of the safer ones to do, and everyone's done it in their lives. Like, come on, there's probably like 2% of the population who hasn't done it. Let's be real about that. Except for like babies, and even some of them have done it. They're born with a joint in their hand. What can I say? It's Cheech and Chong's baby. They're fucking that baby was born with a bong in its hand. But yeah, to answer that question again, it was probably Molly, or any time. Oh, this one time I did acid at the bowling alley. That was really fun. And then there was another time doing DXM at school. I took like 3 Mucinex pills, which I don't recommend because there's guaifenesin in it, or acetaminophen. Just try to find pure DXM. That's the only real safe way you can do it, because you need to take a lot of DXM to overdose. When I say a lot, I mean like a lot. But if you take DXM with guaifenesin, like I wouldn't take more than 3, because that could be dangerous. It could lead to serious health problems, and you don't want that. But yeah, there's this time in high school where I took it, and I just, oh my god, I've told people about this before, and it's just like there's a song called Home by Resonance, or is it Resonance by Home? I don't know. Or wait, I don't, or is it Home by I don't know. It's vice versa. Whatever. I've been working late. I was listening to it. I think I had both of my headphones in my ears, and I was walking through the hallways, and the song, if you guys listen to it, you guys know what I'm talking about. It's just like it's a constant electronic noise. It's like do 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 do. It doesn't sound like that at all, but I'm trying my best on the spot here. Go listen to it. If you guys listen to it, just search up Resonance Home, and you guys will know. I'm sure some of you guys listened to it before, but that was just circling through my ears, and I felt like I was so happy. I felt like I was entering a new dimension in space and time. And these people, I felt like I was a single entity, and everyone else were just fake objects. Like, it just felt like something, like they were being rendered into and out of my life. Like if I saw them in my view, they were being rendered, and as soon as they passed me, they didn't exist. If that makes sense. That's what it felt like was happening to me walking, and that was probably the best walk to class I've ever had. And it was fun. It was fun. That was one of the better DXM experiences I've had. The DXM, it wasn't always fun. I almost had a heart attack on one of them at work, which was not fun, but I don't really remember that much from that since it was like 7 years ago, so I won't go into detail with that. But yeah, I felt like I was going to pass out. Yeah, that was fun. There's been a lot of fun ones. There hasn't been too many bad ones, but there's been a lot of fun ones. So, yeah, if that answers your question. This next question is by Sarah B. Where did your relationship with drugs start? Were you just experimenting or trying to achieve something by using? My relationship with drugs started with this guy. It was actually the first drug I ever did to get high was Lyrica. Surprisingly, I think I was like 15 years old. The first time I did it, I was walking through school, and then I remember I had to hold on to the walls in the hallway because I started to fall down. Oh my god, that shit was fun. I haven't done it since. That's the only time I did it. I was looking for it everywhere for a while because I liked it so much, but I don't recommend it because it is a pill. I don't recommend taking pills. That's not something I will recommend. I only really would recommend something natural or something, something that is known to help you. Now, if you're taking Lyrica because you need to, yeah, that helps you. But, I'm not going to stop you or anything. Just be careful with this stuff. But yeah, I did that, and that kind of made me interested. And then I think I went to weed, and then it just snowballed from there, Lyrica started it all. Who would have thought? All right, those were all drug-related questions, and I saved these last four, okay, wait, there's more than four. Okay, I saved these last ones because they aren't drug-related. They're just normal questions to ask me. I mean, those are normal questions, but they're not drug-related. They were drug-related, so... This next one, I put this one in here because I love talking about music. This next question is by Gurma Dolya, I think. Sorry if I mispronounce any of these usernames. Some of them are really, I just really don't understand, or I don't know how to pronounce them, but I try my best. And if I did get it right, hey, that's good for me, right? All right, top 3 albums or music you like to listen to. I'll answer both of those. Top 3 albums, number 1, gotta be Led Zeppelin 2, their sophomore album from 1969. That has to be, from top to bottom in that album, it's like a masterpiece. There's nothing will top it for me. That is just, every song on there is just wonderful. It starts off with the song that got me introduced to Led Zeppelin was Whole Lotta Love back a while ago, but I didn't really get into them like fully like I am now until 3 years ago, when I first heard Dazed and Confused all the way through. Oh my god, during that solo in the middle, that is, you guys, if you guys know what I'm talking about, that really took me on to them. So yeah, that's probably not my number one album of all time. I could probably put all of them in the top, my three favorite ones in the top three, but we're not going to do that. My second album, it would have to be Paranoid by Black Sabbath. I love Black Sabbath's my second favorite band. Paranoid, I've come to think that was the best. I really liked Volume 4 for a long time. I think all those songs in there were very good, except for FX, because that was just a fill-in. But Paranoid, man, all the hits, the sound on that album was just perfect. Tony Iommi's guitar riffs, they're easy, but man, they were, you remember them, you know them. So yeah, that'd probably be number 2. And number 3, I probably have to go with GP by Graham Parsons. But this could be, I could flip this out with any album. But I know for sure, I think those are my top 2. But GP by Graham Parsons, he's probably my top favorite country artist. He was great, because he was like part of the hippie movement, but he was a country star. No one wanted him to be in country because he was a hippie and he was working with the Byrds and the Rolling Stones and shit. So yeah, I would definitely, that album is great. All right, that it's fun. And I listen to a lot of music. People like to say they don't like country. I don't like modern country. There's maybe one good song that's in modern country that I like, but that's it. Literally only one. But back in the day, man, country was a fucking beast, dude. The pedal steel, my favorite instrument of all time, that is just so beautiful. The way that instrument can just sing on its own. You don't even need a singer when you have the pedal steel. That I love. Hard rock and blues, those are my favorite genres of music. Proto metal, all these I'll listen to all day, every day. Those are my top 4 genres for sure. This next question is by TG. What made you want to start doing YouTube, and why these types of videos? Well, I didn't really want to start doing it, honestly. I mean, I did, but I just did it for fun, and it kind of exploded into what it is today. I really like doing horror stories just in general, not just drug related, but I just happened to do it because I wanted to read Arrowwood reports. I remember I had the idea back in 2016, 2017, around that time, but I didn't have the equipment to do it, so I could never do it. So I just did it one day when I got a microphone, because I was like doing this funny rapping type of thing where I would just like make up stupid lyrics and then rap over a free beat online, and that's where I got the microphone. But yeah, that was fun. And then I'm like, well, since I got a microphone, I guess maybe I can, read these stories. I can finally do it. And what do you know? That first video that I have on there has 100,000 views. Well, 100 plus, 100, like 20,000. And it's my worst one. I hate it the most because I sound so cringy in it. And you guys might not think that, and you guys don't, because there's a lot of likes and not a lot of dislikes. So, but to me, that it sounds too aggressive, and I that was just my normal talking at the time. I was just talking to Mike like, hey, I'm the Trip Keeper. I didn't have that name back in the day, but that's what I am now. So, yeah, that's why I started. And there's been a lot of, it's just fun to do something different. I didn't think it would get to where it is right now. 22,000 is a lot of subscribers to me. I never thought I'd get to that day. I remember when I first hit 1,000 subscribers in 2020, and I wasn't uploading too much, but I hit it. I thought that was amazing. And now it's like, man, I'm almost at 25, and the next thing I'll be at 30, then 40, then 50, and then maybe 100. That would be great if I hit 100,000 subscribers. I can't wait. I want to get that YouTube play button. That's what I'm going for right now. That they don't even give it to you till like months after you reach it, which kind of makes me mad. But at least if I know if I got it, I would get it. If I got 100,000 subscribers, I would get it. So please subscribe if you haven't already, dude. It would mean the world to me. You guys will get more and more content if you guys subscribe more. The newer videos, I'll think of more stuff, and it's just gonna be fun in the future. All right, this next question is from Rico178 Rediff Delive VOD. That's the username right there. Does your family friends know about your YouTube channel? If yes, what do they think of it? If no, do you want to talk to them about it, or do you try to keep that as a secret? Yes, everyone knows about it. It's something that I hold dearly to me now. It's like it's become a part of my life. You know, I stopped doing it for a while. You know, I would upload a video here and there, but man, I was going on like 10-month breaks and shit. But like now, the new subscribers don't know that they had to wait a very long time for a new video. And that wasn't, I felt bad, but it wasn't on the top of my radar to do that. So, but now I feel like I need to and I want to. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of it now. So that's why I want to tell people. It's hard to tell them what it's about because you're like, oh, you read drug horror stories? Like, what the hell? Like, it's hard for me to tell that to people, but you know, people like it. They're proud of me, and I appreciate their proudness. It feels good to have someone like listen to what you have to put out there. It feels good to have people tell you how they feel about something you made, especially if it's something good. You know, I just love seeing good comments, and people give me good comments all the time, and I love it. I thank you guys so much for it. But yeah, I tell most of the people, I don't want to tell people in my family. Like my mom, I told my mom I have a YouTube channel. I told her I read horror stories, but it's not about. I didn't tell her what it was about, and we're gonna keep it that way. I mean, I think she already knows a little bit, but she doesn't know to the extent. So we're gonna keep it that way. But she'll probably, you never know, she'll probably listen to this podcast and be like, what the fuck? So I don't, the only reason I would want to keep it a secret is just because of the topics I cover, but most of the time I tell people. This next question, we're cutting down, we're getting low. We got 4 more questions to go. This next one's by Vitaly Mironov. Are aliens real? See, you know, I really love space. I love watching space videos. I love learning more and more about it. I just learned about the Oumuamua interstellar object that came through a couple years ago. That was pretty fucking sweet. I just learned about that yesterday. But and they were saying that aliens might have sent that, and that would be pretty sweet to think about. But it's hard for me to believe that there is nothing out there if there are billions or trillions of planets just in I almost said in our solar system, in our Milky Way galaxy, and there's many more in the whole universe. It's just so expansive and so big. Like, who knows if we'll ever be able to reach them? You know, I personally think they are out there. It would just make it hard for me to believe that they're not, you know. But if you told me that there wasn't, like if we set out a mission and we looked at every single galaxy, every single planet, every single star, you know, I mean, no one would be living on stars. Well, we don't know that, actually. There could be someone living on stars. Or just anywhere in the universe, and we didn't find anybody. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. I think this universe is weird. We could be a one and only thing, but you know, what do we consider aliens? You know, just anything that's living that's outside of Earth, you know? You know, because I don't think we're prepared to see what the aliens look like. I feel like they look really weird. Like, I feel like, to me, when I think of an alien, I think of like a bacteria that's as big as us, like something that looks like that. Like that's how I picture aliens to be. And I also picture them looking like how the media, the movies portray them, like those gray with the big eyes, small heads, or big heads and small bodies. I picture them like that too. But the realistic ones, I feel like they look like bacteria that is just our size, or like really big. So, but I don't know, man. I don't know if any of them look like us. They could, because the multiverse and shit. I believe in that too. I just love talking about space. I could talk about it all day. But yeah, I do think aliens are real. All right, and these last 3, wow, we're almost at an hour, are by the same person. So good for you for making me choose 3 of your questions. These 3 are by JJ Hacker. I'll go one by one. How do you view other people after you've had psychedelic experiences? Now, I know this goes with the other questions, but I just wanted to put all of his together. Or her, I don't know. It's probably a guy, though. Actually, I don't know. You can't really assume someone's gender nowadays. So you gotta just, hey, they're JJ Hacker. That's what I'm gonna call them. So let's do it. How do I view other people? I view them a lot differently. That's for sure. I feel like, honestly, I feel like everyone hates me. And I think that's how a lot of people feel. But we shouldn't feel that, because someone might talk shit about you or something, but they don't really mean malintent, but I don't know. I view other people just, I see them, I feel them, I feel, like I said before, being an empath, I feel like I know what they're going through. I mean, you don't know what they're going through, but you know what's going through their head and stuff. But you never know what they're going through at home or anything, unless they make it vocal, which I don't think that people should. But if you want to get it, if that's the way of, using, therapy like that, then that's okay. I definitely agree that you should do that. But I'd say if you have some troubles, just keep them to yourself and keep them to your close friends, because, if you tell anybody, that shit can get leaked, and then you'll be pissed, because you can't tell anybody anything, because it's going to get out. Even if it's the smallest thing, you'll tell someone in the morning, and then by the end of the day, the whole office is going to know. So I view people differently than I did before. They're definitely, they're weird. People are weird. Everyone's weird. What do you think the most broad reason for existence is? Existence, the most broad reason for existence. Well, I think we're all here for a purpose. How about that? There's something, you exist on this world because you have to do something. You didn't get aborted. You were lucky enough to be born. I was lucky enough to be born. I was actually going to be an abortion baby, but look at what I'm doing now. I'm making a lot of people happy by uploading. Is that my reasoning? I don't know. Or is the reasoning just to make yourself happy? It's hard to make yourself happy nowadays with COVID and everything that happened in this world. We're more antisocial now. But yeah, it's I think the reason for existence is that you're here for a reason. And you have to take advantage of that, and you gotta hope and pray you don't die at a young age. Watch, I'll probably something will happen to me, and then it'll be like, oh my god, he said this in the podcast. It's like The Simpsons. Oh my god, something's gonna happen to me now. I'm so worried about it now. I have anxiety. No, but we exist because there's a purpose, and my cat's making a noise in the background. Ozzy, shh. Wow, he actually I don't know what he's doing. Oh shit, is that the mouse? Oh my god. Hold on, guys. I'll be right back. Alright, sorry for that. There's a mouse that Ozzy was hunting, and it got out, and he got it in his mouth, and I tried to get it, but it ran under the couch. I don't know where it's at now, so we're gonna find it later. Ozzy is good at hunting those things. All right, the last question. Of course, that had to happen before I was about to finish. What do you think happens when we die? This is a tough question to answer. Anything could happen, honestly. I don't know if there's a God or anything out there, and if there is, then I feel like I would go to heaven. I don't think I'd go to hell. What they say is heaven or hell, I think I'm a good enough person to be accepted into that, but I'm not sure if that exists or not. I don't know if that would keep me out of it, but to be honest, I think my honest opinion, I think we basically just die, that's it. We're we're just a blink in the universe's existence, and we're all gonna be, there's gonna be nothing left. We're all just gonna be black dust. Everything is gonna be consumed by black holes, and we're just gonna be part of that. Now, our souls might be transferred somewhere, though. I don't know. I don't believe in. Oh, no, actually, I do believe in ghosts, because maybe there is a God, because I had a ghost experience in my house, actually in this laundry room right now. Yes, I'm recording in a laundry room. Fuck off. No, don't actually fuck off. That's, you can have your opinions. My laundry basket was shaking back and forth, and there was nothing. The washing machine wasn't on. My cat wasn't doing anything with it. It was just shaking like very viciously back and forth, and I went to come up to it and it stopped, and I was like, what the fuck was that? And I made sure it wasn't my cat, because he was in the other room. It wasn't him. And the washing machine wasn't on. I would have known if that was on. I would have seen it on. So that was like really weird. So maybe it is real. Maybe there's an afterlife. I'm not sure. But I do think that we just kind of die and nothing happens afterwards. So that's why you gotta make life worth something, because you don't know how much longer you're gonna live, and it's fun to live. It's kind of depressing at times to live, but hey, most of you guys are probably doing better than people who are suffering every single day, starving and shit. So, just be thankful that you're living, I guess. That's all I can say. All right, so that ends my first episode of the Thought Loop podcast. Yeah, that was actually kind of a breeze. I didn't really get stuck too much. I was surprised. I thought I was just gonna have long pauses where I didn't talk a lot. I thought that was gonna happen, but I just run my mouth and things go on. So yeah, this is it was nice. This will probably be uploaded tomorrow or something. I don't know, but yeah, check me out next week, or whenever I make another one. There's no set schedule for this yet until maybe it becomes something. So if you guys like this, just please let me know. I'll try to get this on Spotify and stuff. If you guys really enjoy this, I'm going to put this on YouTube, and just let me know if you guys like listening to this. You guys can fall asleep to it, maybe. I don't know. It'd be nice to hear my voice to go to sleep, because I know you guys like to do that with my videos. But yeah, that's it's going to be fun if I get to do this. But if you guys don't want me to do it, that's fine too. But just let me know. Let me know in the comments or wherever. You can message me on Instagram, tell me in the email, but in the comments, I see most of them. I see probably 99% of them. So put them in the comments. And we'll see what happens there. So I'm going to leave, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I don't know how to end this thing, but that's how we're going to end it today. So everyone have a good day, and have a good day. Okay, have a good day. Have a good day. Have a good day.